3, 2, 1, let's jam. Dun, 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 dun.
Copyright.
Oh my God. Welcome back to Content Swap.
Yeah.
Content Swap.
No longer spooky swap.
Content Swap. Content Swap. It's the month of November, so we are no longer doing Spooky Swap. Welcome to Content Swap.
Tears.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yep.
First week of November.
Oh, is
How
it?
do you feel?
I feel like November's been dragging on already. We just started.
That's extra.
November's such like a, you know?
No, I personally love November because, yeah, you got Thanksgiving's coming up, you got Black Friday, you start getting excited about shopping for Christmas because then Christmas is coming up, and then like the first week of December is my birthday, so like there's that. But also every single year in November, really good video games always come out. So this year we've got, the new God of War game comes out next week. We've got the new Sonic game that nobody I know seems to be excited about, but I am. There's a new Pokemon game that's coming out. And then if you're like, I don't know, a Call of Duty fan, then, usually you get one of those, which I'm not, but that's already out. So, Call of Duty fans are satisfied. So, November's always an exciting time. And then the Game Awards are next month. So, if you're a gamer, yeah, November's great.
Well, I am not a gamer. So for me, November is like, it's just like a buffer.
Yeah.
You had like the excitement of Halloween and getting into fall and spooky season. And then there's like this like lull. Mm-hmm. And then it's Christmas.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving's like whack.
Thanksgiving is whack.
I really
you heard it here first.
Both like historically.
Oh.
And it's also just kind of like a boring holiday.
Well, I just like Thanksgiving because it's just an excuse to get together with your family.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about the food during Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Personally, I think people should be people should be allowed to eat whatever food makes their family happiest for Thanksgiving.
Are you calling me out because I said that one dish that...
What? Oh, because yesterday you said you didn't like stuffing? No.
Well, stuffing's gross.
Well, but see, that would be designated as a Thanksgiving food.
It is,
and
yeah.
it's like that's only food that you eat on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, why is there all this food that you only eat at Thanksgiving but never other parts of the year? There's probably a reason why you don't eat it at the other parts of the year. So why are we forcing ourselves to eat it on Thanksgiving?
Well, my family cooks the same type of foods that we eat at Thanksgiving is the same thing we eat at Christmas.
Christmas,
typically.
we're a bit more flexible for Christmas for us.
Well, as of late, my family's been lazy, so we do like a big like chili potluck. And like that's been our Christmas meal. But before it was like all the same stuff. You had your turkey, you had your ham, you had your like mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
But I love Thanksgiving food because it's all your favorite comfort foods.
See, I don't know. In terms of comfort foods, I'm like, if you're asking me to make one big dinner of all my favorite comfort foods, I'd be like, let's get some mac and cheese in there. Let's get some pizza in there.
No.
Let's get some, maybe not pizza, like throw some fried rice in there. Like
what?
Well, none of those go together. So
what kind of meal is that?
I don't know, maybe like steak and mac and cheese. That sounds fantastic. And red wine.
You're also just like
maybe I should not be in charge of this.
Yeah, you're a weird eater too. Like you don't like a lot of things.
Yeah.
And, like you don't really like Thanksgiving dishes you don't like. Like you don't like mashed potatoes.
I'm not crazy about mashed potatoes. Yeah. Turkey's fine. And then like stuff I like stuffing's it's like the one time of the year I eat stuffing.
Yeah.
And then bread. That's cool. But like mac and cheese.
Yeah.
My family, we never eat mac and cheese. My mom makes this it's like cranberry, is it called cranberry sauce?
Yeah.
Shows how little I eat it. But she has this like specific recipe that throws like kind of like peach pieces and like walnuts, or is it pecans? I never even find myself eating that either.
I don't know. But I love mashed potatoes. I love sweet potato casserole. I love collard greens. I love mac and cheese.
Oh yeah, sweet potato casserole.
All that.
I've grown more of an affinity for that
Really?
If you put marshmallows on it.
I think I'm in charge of this year. This year I'm making. Well, I always make the sweet potato casserole for my family. So on Thanksgiving.
Do you put marshmallows on it?
Duh.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Some people.
Yeah, I make my sweet potato casserole. I'm making vegetarian collard greens since I can't usually eat the collard greens that my family makes because they put meat in it.
Yeah, the jury's still out on whether or not I like collard greens.
I don't think you do.
Every time you've had it,
you're like, ugh.
Yeah, but I'm gonna try it every time.
Yeah, go for
and
it.
Maybe just through constant exposure, I'll just like it.
I think I'm gonna ask my mom if I can make the mac and cheese because I want the mac and cheese a particular way that she doesn't make it. And me and my sister both, we've been like, Mom, it's time to give up this recipe you've been using. Yeah. We want to make it better. And she's not budging. She's like, no. People like my mac and cheese. I'm like, okay, but we don't.
Yeah. I think my family stopped cooking on Thanksgiving. Yeah. I feel like last year
we went out to eat.
We went out to eat.
Went to like
an Italian place.
They had a Thanksgiving meal, but none of us ordered it.
Right. I got pasta, which is like...
It was really good pasta.
Which is what I would rather be eating.
Yeah.
Like clam pasta or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm leaning more in that direction for Thanksgiving. Just to, like, in general... I mean, personally.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather just eat something... Like, indulge in something nice, you know? But, you know...
But Thanksgiving meal is indulging in something nice.
Yeah. No, for sure. But it's like, if it's not something I love, then...
So then, are you going to be miserable?
No. It's like, because when we go to spend Thanksgiving with your family, I'm going to be very content because I'm going to eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, and that food is going to be good, from what I understand. Your mom's going to listen to this.
He's not invited. No.
No, it's not none of that. It's just like if you asked me, on Thanksgiving, like you want to eat something that like, the ideal meal, then it wouldn't be all the things that one typically eats on Thanksgiving. Like, why don't we eat those foods other days of the year? Is it because it's quote unquote an indulgence and you don't get to indulge that often? Or is it because it's like the tradition?
We do eat those things throughout the year. We just eat them in a different, we don't eat them all together, like collectively. Like people eat turkey any time of the year, or like people eat mac and cheese any time of the year. But this is like a sit down feast with all those comfort, like starchy foods. The goal is to like by the time you finish
and you'll be like
plate,
super tired.
You want to like pass out on the couch.
Yeah, that's fine and dandy. I guess growing up, I was never excited. I was a super picky eater growing up, so I was never excited for any of the Thanksgiving foods. I would be for the longest time. All I was eating was like bread until finally I was like, I'll try stuffing, which is just soggy bread.
Literally gross. I hate stuffing.
And then, I mean, Thanksgiving is pretty much the only time I ever eat mashed potatoes. I don't love mashed potatoes.
Which is like wild.
I try.
Like a mashed potato.
I don't like. I think I'm just at the point where it's like the texture. I'm just like,
so
like I like my potatoes
like
fried.
Casserole?
Sweet potato. Well, because sweet
like
potatoes
that.
are different.
But it's like the same. If you're saying it's a texture thing, it's gonna be the same texture as mashed potatoes.
Yeah. No, but like it is the same texture, but it's a different taste. It's like the taste of potatoes I prefer in fried form.
That's funny.
In salty fried form. Like I can only eat mashed potatoes if there's like really good gravy to go with it. If somebody just gives me mashed potatoes with no gravy, I'm gonna be pouty the whole time. That's just being realistic.
Okay.
I'm an adult. So
I'm an
adult.
You're like, can we order pizza?
I'm not like whatever food is offered to me, I'm going to eat it, and I'm gonna try everything. And if something just doesn't taste very good to me, then I like just won't eat that.
All I know is, Mom, if you're listening, please make plenty of deviled eggs.
Oh. Well, see, we never made deviled eggs. If you're making deviled eggs,
we always have deviled eggs.
Well,
you're like, I'm set.
Yeah,
a plate of deviled eggs.
Just give me all the deviled eggs.
Yeah, that's half like a staple.
Supply. I love deviled eggs.
And I'm always in charge. I'm the family taste tester. Uh-huh. I stay out of the kitchen. I don't really cook anything unless it's like specifically for me because I'm vegetarian, and so I have to make something for myself to eat. But I'm the designated taste tester. So I come in and I try the mashed potatoes, make sure they got enough butter, salt, all that. And I try the deviled eggs, like the mix, the stuff you put in them. I'm the designated person for that. And the mac and cheese.
Well, we've clearly got Thanksgiving on the brain. And it's not for another few weeks.
I mean, it's in like 3 weeks.
I know, but like... This is our first November podcast, and we're already talking about Thanksgiving.
Yeah, because I'm ready for it to freaking come. Yeah. So I don't even have a full week off. I have like half the week off. Yeah, I'm ready for all the holidays because that means I don't have school.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the holidays are just great. It's just a nice, just a nice vibe.
I know.
I'm into it.
And I'm excited to be home. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been since the last... When's the last time I've been to Georgia? Since I moved here.
I think I was at your house in Georgia more recently than you were.
I literally have not been there for like a year and a half.
Wow, look at that.
I know. So I'm excited to go home.
Yeah, it'll be nice. All right, well, what are we here to talk about today?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Tricked you. Thought we were talking about Cowboy Bebop and Total Drama Island. Nope. This is the Thanksgiving episode.
We're here to shame you about your mashed potato dislike.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm kidding. I mean, I get it. Okay, so anyway. So, yes, I was assigned Cowboy Bebop, which came out in 1998. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, just look at my notes.
I know, because I didn't write it down.
But fun fact, it wasn't until 2001 that it was first aired on Adult Swim on the Cartoon Network channel. And it was the first anime to be broadcast on Adult Swim.
Got you.
In 2001.
Got you. So overall, Cowboy Bebop is a anime show about these two men, and people join their crew over time, but it starts off with these two men.
These two men.
Men. No, and they are bounty hunters. Do they ever catch anybody? No. So I don't know how they... Well, from what I've seen so far.
Well, yeah. I'll comment on that more later. I mean, it's up for debate. I think they saved the day.
I mean, yes, bad things end up happening to bad guys.
Are they ever able to collect the bounty on the people they're after? No. No, they're not.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a fun swing of things, but go ahead. Yeah.
So they never get the bounty for anyone. But it's essentially their journey through space.
What?
Right? Aren't they in space?
They are in space, but it's not about their journey through space.
Well, I mean,
a journey implies that there's a goal.
Well, they're like, their goal is to get these bounties. So they're like going through space to collect these, to get the people and collect the bounty.
I think that's what's interesting about it, is that there isn't really like a goal other than like they're professional bounty hunters. So every time there's new bounties out, they got to go collect them, or they want to go collect them. And it's not like...
And they're in space.
Yeah. But like the whole purpose of that, I guess, like... loop of behavior is to survive, it's to live, it's to work. They're working, I guess when I hear like their journey through space, I think of like, oh, they're trying to make it to planet Google Gobble, I don't know, but
it's set in space is what I'm trying to say.
My bad. Sorry, I'm not trying to be like nitpicky. It's just like a very like There's no like kind of through line goal to it.
Well, yeah. So it's set in space. They're bounty hunters. That's the show. And so you have Spike, who's kind of like our main character.
Spike Spiegel.
Yeah, and he is. I called him Adult Deku, but that's just because his hair is green.
That is in reference to Deku from My Hero Academia.
Yeah, from My Hero. But yeah, he's just this kind of like cool, relaxed dude. And that's really all that I can like describe him as. I don't really know how else to describe him.
Spike Spiegel, cool, relaxed dude, bounty hunter. Yep.
Yeah. There's like no other way to describe him.
Smokes cigarettes, wears a suit.
Yeah. He's got some swag.
Got swag.
Yeah.
Can fight real good.
Yeah. So that's
him. And he's got, I don't know, just like a laid back, but can get the job done kind of attitude.
Yep. He's pretty suave.
Yeah.
And then his partner, who is, I don't know his name.
Jet Black.
I forgot. And he's like a bigger, more like muscular dude. How would you describe him?
I would say like Spike is a little bit more of like the reckless, goofy one, and Jet is more of like the grounded, down to earth, older guy, the wiser. Like without Jet, he'd probably be,
in trouble.
Yeah, like everybody who's on their ship, the Bebop, like Jet.
Their ship is called the Bebop.
Yeah, the ship is called Bebop.
That's
and
so funny.
They are cowboys.
Yeah,
because they're cowboys in the sense that they call bounty hunters cowboys in this universe.
Yeah, there's like so basically they get like
that's why it's called Cowboy Bebop.
They get notification of who has a bounty on their head by these like. This like program that's like this woman and this man that are like cowboys.
Yeah.
And they're like, hello, this person has this bounty on their head.
Yeah.
Like, go catch them.
Yep.
And then they're like, let's go catch them. That's a lot of money.
Yep.
And so that's what they do. So we watched five episodes. I only took notes on 2. I gotta say, so in terms of my overall thoughts, I don't really know how much I'm going to add to this conversation because overall, when I first started it, I was a bit bored. And I was having trouble paying attention because I was a bit bored. And also I was really tired. And so I ended up falling asleep in the middle of like episode 2. And so, yeah, starting off, it was just like, it wasn't captivating me. It feels like I'm comparing this to, which comes from the same person, but comparing it to
Samurai
Champloo, like it all has kind of like the same vibe. Like it's all this. It feels like both of those are like kind of the same thing in different contexts.
Yeah.
But at least with like Samurai Champloo. I liked the hip hop aspect of it, and that felt a little bit different. This, even though it's like a weird space cowboy type of thing, those notes weren't like so explicit, and so it just felt like these 2 dudes going around like fighting crime type of thing, and I was just like, ugh.
Just from your tone of voice right now, it's like
I know, like it just
you
was
can
like
fall asleep.
Yeah, it was just so like I was like, this is a great background show if you're busy doing chores or like whatever. But in terms of
do I have a problem with that?
At least for me, it was a great background show. Like I would gladly put this on and like just be doing other stuff. But to sit down and watch it, I was like, I'm gonna fall asleep. Like I'm not gonna make it through these episodes. So yeah.
Okay, I kind of have a completely opposite take on that. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, because the show is like kind of slow, like okay. Back it up. I had a very similar experience when I first started this show. Like I started at episode 1 and I just kind of found myself like really tired, like very easily able to fall asleep watching it.
Mm-hmm. And his voice is really like soothing in that sort of way that you're just like,
Spike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spike's voiced by Steve Blum, who's just like a very famous voice actor.
He's Mugen.
And he's also a million other people. But I think for me, it's the fact that it is kind of slow that like I don't agree with the idea that it should be a background show, because I think each individual episode has its own kind of like self-contained story to tell, that I think the show kind of like, especially in our modern day, like streaming everything, behavior of how we watch everything. I think it's like it challenges you to like actually like sit and focus and pay attention, because I found that if I watch it and I'm not fully invested in it, if I'm looking at my phone, then I have no idea what happened. I'm bored. It's a show where every time I watch it, like I have to set my phone down. I have to look at it and pay attention to it. And that's when I get like the full experience of what it's intending for me. And I don't think it's a show that you should binge all at once. I think it's a show that you should watch randomly. And it's in like one episode at a time. Because I think the experience of like catching the show on TV late at night, not knowing what it is, and watching a random episode, I think that is like the ideal way to watch the show, because then it's like, whoa, what is this? And you don't have to watch it in order. This like way of watching things with streaming is like you start at episode 1 and then you watch and you binge it all the way until the end. And I personally I don't think that's the right way to experience this show. I think like if you're hanging out with some people late at night and it's like they just put on a random episode of Cowboy Bebop, that's what you're supposed to that's the experience that I think like the show that I guess that'll give the viewer the most satisfying experience. Because otherwise, like, yeah, you might get tired just watching all of it all at once.
Yeah. It was weird because it was like, even when I was like sitting down, fully paying attention to it, it's like slowness made me like, it's like I was watching it, I wasn't processing anything. So after the episode, I was like, I don't know. I don't really know what was going on.
Exactly. And that's the thing. If you put it on in the background, you're not going to process anything. But that's what I'm saying,
is it wasn't in the background. I'm sitting down and I'm fully paying attention to it. But it was still like, it was like I was viewing it, but I wasn't like I wasn't engaged with it. And so by that,
so not paying attention to it would cause you to
But it's not like I wasn't paying attention to it. I was watching it. We were sitting down. I was watching it. But by the end of the episode, I was still like, okay, that was just like a lot of stuff. I'm not sure if you asked me like, what did we just watch? I would probably have missed everything. Even though I was sitting there watching it, I'm not on any phones. I'm not doing things. Like I just struggled. I struggled with like retaining what I had seen.
So yeah, you watched the first 3 episodes without me, so I only got to watch episodes 4 and 5 last night, but that's okay because I've seen the first 5 episodes like a bunch of times. But the episode 5, Ballad of Fallen Angels, is like, it's one of the best episodes of the show in my opinion. It's not my favorite episode. My favorite episode is Pierre Le Fou, but that's a different discussion. And I like that episode so much because it's like, it's a more serious episode. It's like slow, but it's tight. Like the writing of each episode is tight because it has to tell a beginning, middle, and end to one story in 25 minutes, which not a lot of shows are able to do, unless you're watching like, I don't know, an 11-minute SpongeBob episode. But like, let's see what else I have to say about it. I don't like. Yeah, like I just like, I think you really have to just watch random episodes in order to like fully enjoy it.
I feel like the reason I'm not enjoying it is because it is a show just like about like shooting at bad guys.
But there's so much more.
I'm sure there's so much more than that, like but I haven't watched enough to get to like the depths of these characters.
That's true. Like the episode 5 that we watched is like, it's one of the few episodes that gets into like Spike's backstory, and like there's only a handful of those episodes that dive into that, which those episodes I think are the most interesting. But it's, with this episode being so early in the series, it's one that's like, it's only giving you like hints of kind of like what it's meant to kind of tease you or kind of show glimpses of like, increase your curiosity towards like what's all that about. But then there's just like completely different episodes where it's like you just watch it randomly. Like Pierre LeFou, it is very like simple, small episode. Like Spike is really the only character. It's like him and this other guy Pierre LeFou are pretty much the only two characters in the whole episode, and it's so simply written, but it's like able to. It just packs in a lot with like very little dialogue.
Yeah, I guess it's that. Like episode 5 felt like the only episode I had watched up until that point that you start to like get a glimpse at who Spike is and his history. And so I felt disconnected from like the characters. I didn't feel like I had a reason to like care about the characters. The only time that I got like real interested in characters when the girl shows up. What's her name? Faye. Yeah, when Faye shows up, because I'm like, ooh, cool, she's interesting. Like, what's up with her? And so that intrigued me.
I mean, each of the four main characters on the show has at least like 2 backstory episodes each that are kind of sprinkled throughout. And all of those episodes, I think, are some of the most interesting. But then there's other ones that are just like totally random, and it's like, what, huh? And some episodes are like fun, and some episodes are like just a whole bunch of nonsense, but it's like good nonsense because it's just happening in this one episode. I don't know. Like you're far from the first person I have spoken to about this show who started from the beginning and got like 2 or 3 episodes in and was like, I don't get it. And I get that because that was me when I started it. But then when you watch the whole thing, and in my case, I've seen the whole thing like 3 times. It's like, it's just so fun to know that it's there. Like it's always, I enjoy every single time I'm watching Cowboy Bebop. And despite the fact that every time I have watched it, it was in order. I never binged it all at once. I was always watching like 1 or 2 other shows that I was kind of splicing in between because like I don't think it's fun to watch all at once. It's like a slow burn, and like I maintain that like despite having pretty much always watched it in order, like it deserves to kind of just be watched randomly. I don't know. There have been times where like I had nothing to do, and I said like, oh, I'm gonna watch the Pierre LeFou episode of Cowboy Bebop. And like I don't need the context of the rest of the show or anything. Like that all exists. I know it. It's like I'm just gonna watch that one episode. And it's like you don't, even the first episode just kind of like introduces you to these characters, doesn't tell you their backstory, because the point isn't that you always need to know their backstory in order to enjoy the story that they're telling you in that one episode. And that's just what I like about it.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, in terms of fun facts.
How do you know I'm not done?
Oh, are you not done?
No, I think I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, you want something quick and fun to watch randomly? Watch an episode of Cowboy Bebop. Let's see. So the show has received like unanimous acclaim. I think it's like all reviewers who review it always have something good to say about it. It's one of the first few anime that popularized anime in the West. The soundtrack is a banger. Soundtrack was done by Yoko Kanno, and it is just so good. Like every time I put on some music from Cowboy Bebop, it is like, dang, this is good. And it's a combination of like jazz, opera, and like Western music, and that's always fun to listen to. Like that's a really interesting combination, and then like place it in space with these like bounty hunters. It works. so well. The way that it's all like fused together. The creative lead and director was Shinichiro Watanabe, who made Samurai Champloo, as you brought up earlier. It was his first solo director project. The characters were partially inspired by Lupin the Third, which, like, Lupin the Third, The Castle of Cagliostro, is like a 1979 animated movie that was directed by Miyazaki. Has a very kind of the main character, Lupin, is very Spike-like, and his kind of buddy that hangs out with him is very much like Jet Black. So it's partially inspired by that. And let's see. The reason it has like a beginning and an end, and it's just 26 episodes, and I guess when you ask me, like, does this just have one season? I'm like, you can't even call it a season because it's not that kind of show. Let's see. The writer, he wrote it with an ending in mind because he said he didn't want to be tied to it over a long period of time, like it was something like Star Trek that just like seemingly has no ending, right? Mm-hmm. So he wanted it to feel like it had an ending. And other fun facts, it was to this day, it's one of the few anime out there that is not based on something prior to it. Because we brought this up in the Samurai Champloo episode. Most anime are based on like a manga that was created first. In this case, any manga you see of Cowboy Bebop out there is adapted from the show because the show came first. And let's see, apparently there's a bunch of references to Bruce Lee films, John Woo films, and famous jazz musicians. Didn't know any of that until I started digging into it. Let's see. And there's a movie. It's like a Cowboy Bebop movie that's also animated that came out in 2001. Also really good. Like, I would be curious to have you watch that and see what you think of that. Knowing that that's like, I guess, one long movie. It's also kind of got its slow moments, but it's also got its like really exciting moments, and it's got its like Spike being awesome moments, and all of that, everybody being awesome. It's just really good. I would encourage you to like keep watching it. Mm-hmm. Maybe you don't have to watch it in order. Just like put on a random episode. Just pick like episode 14 or something and just watch that and kind of see what you think. And of course there's a live action show that was released on Netflix about a year ago, which is not so good. I watched it. Don't recommend it. It's not, I enjoyed it while I watched it, and I was like, if they made more of this, then I feel like I would have to watch it because it's live action Cowboy Bebop and we wanted that for years. But now that they've made it, I'm like, ew. I don't know. They misrepresented almost every character except for Jet Black. They got Jet Black perfect in the live action show, and then like Spike just wasn't cool enough. He was played by John Cho, and I love John Cho, but he like wasn't cool enough. Faye just didn't end up being like the most likable character, and she has this super cringe line in the last episode where she's like, "Welcome to the ouch, MFer." Mm-hmm. When she like shoots a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. It's like, welcome to the ouch. Anyway.
What does that mean?
Exactly. That was just not a great line. And then, Radical Edward, you haven't met Radical Edward yet, but there's like a moment at the end of the live action season where Edward pops up, and it's not... I'm kind of glad they like didn't choose to put him in the rest of the show. But I think the biggest issue with the live action show is how they portrayed Vicious. Vicious being like one of Spike's old partners from when he used to work for the gray-haired guy with the long hair and the sword, who he fights in episode 5. They have a past. They have a history. Vicious is a very interesting character. Every time he pops up, and it's like, ooh, Spike's got to go confront his past. Vicious is here. Ooh. Mm-hmm. it's always really interesting. And then in the live action show, Vicious is like, he's still a little punk, and I hated him. When I saw the actor that was playing him, I was like, oh, that seems right. But the way they characterized him was like, oh, he just sucks. Like, bleh.
Isn't that the point though?
No, like I look at Vicious in the anime, and I'm like, ooh, he's kind of scary. Like, I feel very threatened by him. But then when I see him in like the live action one, I'm like, he looks like you could beat him up. Or he acts like he's deserving of being beaten up. Not that anybody should be beaten up. He's just like, you just don't like him. Like, you're not threatened by him. He's clearly a threatening guy, but he's just like, I don't know, just not, he's like too goofy. And it's like supposed to be this serious character. And they do play him kind of seriously, but it's like, I just can't take it seriously. Yeah, it's not good. And I'm sorry to that actor. I don't know his name, but he is a good actor. I've seen him in things. It's just like, yeah, the way that they portrayed Vicious in the live action show is just, it's bad. Anyway, aside from that, a lot of people consider this to be like a gateway anime because it's one of the most highest acclaimed anime to ever exist, and I think it will always be up there. And I think there will always be people who watch anime and then say, I've never seen Cowboy Bebop, and then watch it and go, I don't get it. And I think I think that there's kind of a point there, in just that it's not told like every other anime is. And I think a lot of people just aren't like prepared for that when they go into it. You just have to like put yourself in the right mental headspace, and then it's like, yeah, the show's great. Like, it really is fantastic. And the last thing I have to say is that, according to Wikipedia, there are very prominent themes of boredom, loneliness, and the inability to escape one's past, which I would say is all very accurate. And that's everything I had.
Nice.
Anything else you'd like to say?
No.
No. Okay. Are you going to finish it? Will you watch a random episode?
If I'm being honest, probably not. Maybe I'll watch a random episode, but I doubt that I'll continue watching it. Oof. I'm sorry.
Dang.
It hurts me to say that because I was really like genuinely excited to watch it because I know how big of a following it has. Like, I know how much people care about it, and it always seemed cool from like what I would see, like, yeah, just like on social media and stuff. So like, I'm kind of sad that I'm not digging it.
I keep emphasizing this, but like, I understand. And I was in the same boat after the first 5 episodes. Like, the first time I watched the Ballad of Fallen Angels, I was like, I was like falling asleep. I didn't get it. It's like, once you just sit and watch it and just watch all of it and just like give it your time and are not like in a rush for like the next thing. Like, I really just, I do think you have to give it your full attention.
Yeah.
And just watch it.
Yeah. Well, that would have to like be a summer thing. And I think that's why I'm like, I highly doubt I'll come back to it because I have so like little time and there's so many pieces of content I'm trying to like see with my little time that it's like, I could see myself revisiting this during the summer when things are a bit slower, I don't have as much going on, and I can dedicate that time to like sit, pay attention to this. But yeah, there's so much content out there to like get through,
and that's why I'm like and that's why I'm saying don't rush to get through this. Just watch a random episode here and there. Might change your mind.
Okay. Yeah. We'll leave it up in there. We'll see.
All right. Well, moving along.
Yep.
Okay, so you can see how very little notes I have. I was assigned a show that is called Total Drama Island. If you haven't heard of it, it's a cartoon show. Did it originally air on Cartoon Network? Do you know that for a fact?
I'm not sure. It's a Canadian show. So
it's a Canadian show?
It originally aired in Canada.
Yeah. I didn't realize that. Okay, so, it's on Netflix. That's how we watched it now.
Yeah.
So
I think it was on Cartoon Network when it was, like, aired in America.
Okay.
I think.
It has a very, like, Cartoon Network show type of feel to it.
Yeah.
So Total Drama Island is a cartoon show about a competition it's like Survivor, but everybody's 16 and they're going to this camp called Camp Wawanakwa. And it's on an island. And there's 2 different teams, and every episode they are competing in some kind of challenge. And then at the end, it's like they vote someone off, but you never see them voting or anything. It's just like there's 10 people and we have 9 marshmallows, and whoever doesn't get a marshmallow, like they're not getting a rose on The Bachelor or something.
Yeah, but you assume like they vote. Well, I think in the instructions they say like you'll vote people off, and like you assume they're voting someone off because like during the episode as they're doing the challenge, you see who they get frustrated at.
Yeah,
and then that's usually the person who ends up going home.
Well, so far we've watched 4 or 5 episodes, something like that. And it has never been a surprise who gets voted out, because it's like the focus of that episode is painting the person who got voted out as somebody that nobody else likes that episode, and then they end up getting voted out. That's how it's been so far. So the guy that hosts the show is this guy, like, is his name like Mike something?
His name is Chris.
My bad. Chris something. And he's kind of got like this Jeff Probst vibe from
down to the shirt.
Yeah. Jeff Probst being the host of Survivor.
Yeah.
So he's kind of got that vibe. This is a weird show. I'm having a hard time with this show because part of me gets it and part of me just doesn't get it at all. Like, the script of the show is like low key, very problematic sometimes. Yeah. So okay, like each of these, it starts with 22 of these teenagers, and so it's 11 versus 11. Yeah, and each one is like a stereotype. Yeah. Every character is incredibly one note. They have they have the type of person that they're stereotyped off of, and that's it. That's all they are. So honestly, for me, like when it comes to the characters, there are characters that I either actively dislike or just don't care about. And that's the only character I think that I'm kind of like, I kind of like that character is Gwen, the goth girl.
Gwen. I love Gwen.
I don't know why I like Gwen, the goth girl.
Because she's just like, I think she's the one where it's like she doesn't really follow a stereotype. Like, I mean, she's the goth girl, but she's just kind of like a typical person. Like, she's the most like logical person.
Yeah, she's the one that I can most relate to.
Yeah.
Because everybody else just sucks.
I really like Lashana.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. I will say with these characters, like, because it's been a while since I've watched this show. With these characters, there is a lot of character development. Okay. There are characters right now that, like, you forget that they are there. But then as the season goes on, you really start to like them. And then there's, like Heather is, like, the mean girl character. But I think at some point, if I'm remembering, like, she's kind of the most complex character. Okay. And, like, there's a lot to her that they start to get into. And
yeah, she's the one that's actively, like, playing the social game.
Yeah.
Like, when you watch a season of Survivor, we love Survivor. Yeah. There's always especially in the later seasons, people realize that they have to focus on the social game, and it's not just about the competition aspect of it. And Heather's definitely the character in this show that is playing the social game.
Yeah.
As, I guess, as cookie cutter and as simple as they portray her playing the social game, she's the only one doing it. So I do think her character is interesting. Like, if she's going to do anything, it's like, okay, this is... I'd much rather be watching Heather do stuff than like some of the other characters, where if they do stuff, it's like gonna be, I don't know, like a fart joke or something.
It's like a silly kid thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is a kid show at the end of the day too. But I think, see, you're talking about like going back to that, it's problematic and you have these stereotypes. I agree. It is. There's a lot of like problematic sayings, especially the way they treat the black characters, the way they treat Lashana.
Yeah.
It's a bit hard to hear sometimes, like the lines that they have. And then DJ, which like you never even hear from DJ really. And I don't think that really changes throughout the season, which is kind of sad. But what's also like really like I'm toying with in my mind is because this is a parody of Survivor. And if you think about Survivor, especially those early seasons, this is exactly what they do is they stereotype everyone
that gets cast.
Exactly. And like you come in and there's like the person from a rural town and they like immediately are like, this guy's super conservative, blah blah blah, like whatever. You have like the person who may be religious and they're like, oh my gosh, this like Jesus lover, blah blah blah, like whatever. Like that's just how they treat people. And so I think it is kind of interesting if you're having a parody of a show where like this is what they do, to like portray that. But also there are moments within the show where they like kind of what's the word I'm looking for, they like go against that. Like for example, there was a character who was saying all this negative stuff about women and he was like, women are not as good as men and blah blah blah.
He's the first person voted out.
He's voted out quickly because everyone's like, you're being sexist, like that's trash, bye.
Right.
And that's the thing they make very explicit. And so it's weird. It's a weird thing because you're like, oh, I hate to hear this stuff. But then at the same time, you're like, okay, well, this is a parody of Survivor. And like, this is what Survivor is like. But also it's tricky because this is also a children's show. And so you're like, do they have the awareness? Like, or I don't want to say the awareness because, you know, children are very smart. But like, do they understand the complexities of this? And like that this is a parody. This is like... This is not, these stereotypes should not be like taken as like reality of like who these characters are. And
this is where I'm having a hard time with this show because I'm like, I don't understand who it's for.
Yeah.
It feels like
it's for adults.
It feels like it's for adults, but then how things play out is very much like, well, childish. This is for children.
Yeah.
So I don't get it.
I get that.
It's like
it's a confusing show.
Like there can be stuff that's like catered to children, but then portrayed in a really effective way that it's like, hey, anybody of all ages could actually really enjoy this. But then this feels like the opposite, where it's technically supposed to be for adults, but it's portrayed in a childish way. Yeah. And I don't get that.
I think I feel like it's like target demographic are like your tweens, like your 10 to 13, 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
Because it's like at that age, they have awareness about like stereotypes and things, but they're also like I'd still
say like 10 to 12.
Or that too. Yeah. But at that age, you like have this awareness of like the stereotypes and stuff. You probably know what Survivor is. Maybe you don't watch it, but you probably knew what it was. Yeah. Especially if you grew up. Well, this is like 2015. When was like Survivor's height? In early 2000s?
Early 2000s. Yeah. Oh yeah. First 2 seasons, it was like the most popular thing.
Yeah. But still, even if you didn't watch Survivor, you knew Survivor, you knew the gist of Survivor. Like you knew what the underlying goal of Survivor, the show, was.
Yeah.
And so so you can watch but like at the same time you're still a kid, and so like some of the childish things you like will find funny, and so
it's just like some of the things for me. So I think why I love watching Survivor is that I don't know what's gonna happen because it's a reality TV show. It's a social game, and people are gonna stab each other in the back, and the way that the storylines play out is like, oh, I might really like this person, but you know what? By the 4th episode, they're gone. Because, you know, they pulled some crazy voting social politic stuff. And that's always really interesting. Watching this, I'm like, okay, the characters that are not super complex, I know they're like the cannon fodder for like who's going to get removed at the end of each episode.
At least so you think.
But then, and then those that are like slightly more like complex or like get a bit more screen time are not going to, like, they're going to last until closer to the end.
Yeah.
And so like right now I'm like, it's incredibly predictable.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if like that changes. Like if over time, well, I mean, at a certain point they're going to start eliminating the characters that we really know a lot about.
Okay.
Which then makes it a bit more complex.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like I'd be interested to see how that plays out, but I'm also like, I don't think I want to keep watching. So
I get it. I love the show though. I think it's like, it's just fun because you see the direct comparisons to Survivor. Like you see exactly like what they pulled from. And it's just fun to see it in like a children's show. Like it's just, and there are really great moments of humor. There are some that are just like, come on now, like this is not funny. This is just dumb.
It totally has its moments where I'm like, and then it has its moments where I'm like, I'm 28. I should not be watching this.
I get that. Yeah. I get that. This was like for a while when I was in undergrad. This was my go-to like Sunday morning show. So I would like put it on, make breakfast, and I just thought it was like really fun and like, I don't know, just funny and easy to watch in the morning. And yeah, I just like got into the habit of that. But yeah, there's characters that I just like, I really love, and like seeing them again when we were watching it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that character. Like I love that character. And like, it was just really cool to have that kind of character in a cartoon.
The episodes are like 22 minutes. Honestly, I think they could speed the whole thing up and cut it down to like 15 minutes.
I could get behind that.
I think like some parts of it just feel slow or just feel like it is the quality of animation that it is. I don't know, like nothing crazy in the animation department is happening. It's just kind of like simple, and when it is simple and there's like lulls, I don't know, I think it could be sped up a bit, but
yeah, I get that.
They probably make more money if it's a longer show. So
yeah. Do you have anything else to add?
No. I don't know, it has its little moments. Like I guess I would only enjoy watching this, like, I don't know, like in the context of like, you really like this and we're watching it together. That's right now, I think, the most enjoyment I could get out of it. I would not watch it alone. I don't think I would enjoy it as much then. If we had kids and our kids wanted to watch it, I would probably be eating it up way more and be like, oh, like having fun, because they're having fun. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm like, okay. Yeah. But like if we had kids and they really loved the show and like I enjoyed watching it with them because they're enjoying it, like then I might have, I would probably develop like a much stronger fondness for the show. Yeah. So,
makes sense. I get it. So yeah, in terms of fun facts, I don't really have much. Like I said, it was originally aired in Canada. I don't know in what context this is, but I found a fact that said like many of the lines were cut out.
I noticed in the subtitles.
Yeah, many of the lines were cut out for fear of being too mature for young audiences. I don't know if that was like from like when it was airing in Canada or like when they brought it over to America. I'm not sure.
I mean, there's even like there's just little things that you can see that in the subtitles are just written or spoken differently.
Yeah.
Like the subtitles will say this sucks, but then the characters will be like this stinks.
Yeah. They one of the examples they said was like, I guess the characters were saying the word crap. And
yeah, so they don't say crap at all.
They took it out. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's in the subtitles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Is there like a different audio version that we can flip to on Netflix where it's not like that?
I have no clue. Yeah, I don't know. Also, well, okay, so some of the things that you didn't get to because we only saw 5 episodes. And I don't know if this started in the second season, but they started doing like an after show and like a reunion.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, which was really funny and I think added to it a lot and made it really fun. They also, so some of the characters make a return in like later seasons. They have like an all-star season. So yeah, so it very much like it's like Survivor. Yeah. It's just a parody of Survivor.
That's fun. Like if I was writing this, I'd probably have a fun time doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of nudity in the show. Like it's like blurred out.
Yeah.
It's mostly male characters because having nude female characters is, controversial. So they try not to do that a lot. But there's only one season of the show that features no nudity, which I thought was weird. I'm like, why is there so much nudity? Like,
yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like my flaw with it. It's like, why do we need this?
Yeah, well, there's a whole episode where the point it starts out with they need to like take a 20-kilometer hike and then eat a bunch of food that includes like turkey, which turkey generally makes you very like sleepy and lethargic after you eat it.
Yeah.
And then from there they have to stay awake as long as they can, and whichever team has somebody that stays awake the longest wins.
Yeah.
And the stereotypical like, I don't want to say the stereotypical like bigger character that likes to eat, whose defining characteristic is that he's big and likes to eat. He falls asleep. I think he's like one of the first people to fall asleep.
Yeah.
But then like later he ends up sleepwalking and then jumps off a cliff and goes into the water and starts like swimming with the dolphins. And he's like, did I mention that he's like naked? Yeah. He's like, he's fully naked, sleepwalking, acting like a fish.
And then like the whole joke is like,
does he like fart every once in a while too?
Well, he like goes into a cave and there's like bears or something in the cave and he like farts and the bears kick him out.
Yeah, he farts and the bears kick him out and he's asleep. And I'm like, what? I'm too old for that.
Yeah. I would say
it makes no sense.
His character I think his character's name's Owen.
Yeah.
His character is definitely like the most childish and really like, it's like as an adult, you're just kind of like, whatever. Like, yeah, I'm not interested in this character.
Yeah. If I was with a child and a child was watching this, I'd be like, yeah, they probably really like his character. So, yeah.
So I don't know how factually true this is. I saw this on a BuzzFeed article of this girl who was like, why Total Drama Island is like the best show ever.
All right.
I mean, Total Drama Island has a huge fan base of adults.
At least we're citing our sources.
Yeah. But apparently the winner of season 1 is different depending on the country that it aired in.
What?
Yeah. Which is, like I said, I don't know how factual that is, but interesting.
If that's true, that's actually kind of neat.
Yeah. But I kind of want to go to because they said who the winner was in the article. I won't tell you unless you want me to tell you. I'm
like, don't.
I won't.
Like, I want to know, but I also like don't want to get spoiled. But I'm also like, am I gonna finish this? I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't remember who won the season, but based on who they said won in America and like who won in the other countries, I was like, oh, why did they do that? Like, why did they switch it like that? That doesn't make sense.
Interesting.
So yeah,
Yeah, I would say don't tell me.
Yeah, I won't tell you.
At least don't tell me on the podcast.
I mean, just watch the last episode. If you're not going to watch the whole thing, just watch the last episode.
I don't know. I mean, maybe one day we'll have kids and I'll enjoy watching it with them, and I will want to, preserve the surprise for that moment when it's more impactful for me.
I mean, I will say, similar to how you said, I mean, I don't mean to compare this to Cowboy Bebop, because I think Cowboy Bebop definitely, like, artistry-wise is probably is
so
way
much
better.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, similar to what you told me about Cowboy Bebop, this is a show that, like, I feel like it took me a little bit to, like, get into.
Yeah.
Like, I had first watched it, my ex had it on, like, the TV, and I was like, what are you watching?
Yeah.
Why are we sitting here? And I think I started, like, reading a book while he was watching it, and as he kept going through the episodes, I kept finding myself, like, sitting and watching
getting invested.
it. Yeah. And so then, like, at a certain point, I was like, oh, this is hilarious, and I love it.
I'd rather just put this on in the background.
Oh, I think it's a great background thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I used to just, like, make breakfast and watch it, and it's great, and you pick up on, like, the things that are really funny, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not saying this is, like, the best show ever.
No,
but
yeah.
it is a interesting, like, idea for a show to parody this thing that's, like, a cultural phenomenon for, like, adults.
Yeah,
and turn it into, like, a child version.
I think I wish I had written this,
Yeah.
like it's
a cool idea. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a fun idea. It's even if like it would just be fun to write in general and just kind of come up with your own stuff. And it's like, given how simple this is and how popular it's become, like I'm envious of the people that created it.
Yeah.
Wish I'd done it myself.
Yeah. Maybe just make it less problematic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I think they were coming out with a reboot recently.
Well, I mean, we saw on HBO Max that there's like Total Drama-Rama, which is a different thing.
But I think that came out along the same time as these. I don't know. But I don't know. That's a good question.
I can't follow all this.
Honestly, I don't know.
None of this makes any sense.
I should have got my facts straight because I'm not sure. But they were doing a reboot, and I saw that there was a little bit of backlash because of how they like drew Asian characters. They like made their skin yellow, and it was just like real bad.
That's not good.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think the show does struggle with its portrayals of POC.
Yeah.
And that's a shame because, yeah, like you want good diverse representation in the show if they're gonna do it. So I don't know if they're continuing to make seasons. I don't know if they are or not, but if they are, they do need to work that out and get that straightened out and not have tokens like they do in this first season.
I mean, but if you're basing it on Survivor, which is full of tokens.
Well, but like new seasons of Survivor are
diverse. New seasons of Survivor are super diverse. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think, I don't know. I think you can make the show captivating without necessarily the problematic stuff.
Yeah.
And with more diversity. And it'll still be fun. As long as you have the humor there, and appropriate humor.
Yeah. I'm not trying to say like they should be able to leave the tokens. That sounds bad. I guess just given what the show is and what they're doing,
it's like considering what they're parodying.
It's like it makes sense that that's all there.
Yeah.
I guess the question is like, should they keep making this?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's watching it. I don't know if kids enjoy it. Do kids even know what Survivor is?
I don't know. People still watch Survivor, believe it or not. I mean, we watch Survivor, but like, people still watch Survivor.
We also grew up when like Survivor was a huge thing.
Yeah, but like Total Drama Island has 7 seasons on Netflix, and there's a Total Drama-Rama, whatever that is, also, and like 7 seasons on Netflix. This came out in 2015. It's currently 2022, and 2015 was 7 years ago. If that's 1 season a year, I don't know if they came out on a yearly basis, but like clearly people
are
enjoying it enough for 7 seasons to get made.
That's true.
So I don't know. I bet this show was really cheap to produce. Given the quality of the animation, they like they probably don't need a ton of people working on it.
Yeah.
not to like downplay things. I don't know. If there could be a ton of dedicated staff to the show who work really hard, and I don't want to,
I mean, hey, they created something
minimize
super popular.
that. Yeah, it's super popular. I hope you all get paid well. And be responsible with your writing. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a big yawn.
All good. Anything else?
Nope. That's pretty much it.
All right. Well, yeah, maybe I'll put it on in the background. I mean, yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally okay if you don't pick this up, and I'm not gonna be like, you're missing out.
Yeah,
it's just like, I get it.
Yeah. My personal problem right now with anything being watched in the background is that I'm watching One Piece right now, and that's
it'll take you forever to get
that's
through.
like it's gonna be my background show for like 4 years. That's just the choice that you make when you start watching One Piece.
Yeah.
But that I think is a completely polar opposite type of watching experience than something like Cowboy Bebop, where you would be sitting and giving it your full attention. One Piece is like, I realized I fell asleep and my queue like had skipped 2 episodes, but I didn't realize I'd skipped 2 episodes, and I started watching and I just knew exactly, like, I was like, oh, these characters are together now. And I was like, well, that's fine. I don't need to go back and see how that happened over those 2 episodes, because it's like, it doesn't matter. I'm just keep the ball rolling. Whereas if I fell asleep during 2 episodes of Cowboy Bebop, I would be like, yeah, I just missed a lot. So anyway, we're not talking about Cowboy Bebop anymore. That just came to mind.
Like, how did we get there?
Yeah, my bad.
That's okay.
But yeah, Total Drama Island, Cowboy Bebop. I think this was a good pairing because they were both on Cartoon Network at some point, and
we both have similar attitudes about them.
Yeah, 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 and they are like opposite types of viewing experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Shall we assign?
We shall.
Alrighty. Do you want to go first? I feel like I went first last time.
Yeah, sure. So I've had this on my list for a long time. It's one of my favorite movies. I'm going to go ahead and give you a little movie called Ip Man.
Ip? Like IP?
IP Man. It's not Ip Man as in like Iron Man. It's like his name is Ip Man. So it's a Hong Kong movie based around this guy, Ip Man, who technically speaking was Bruce Lee's master, but it's like it was made in like 2009, so it's kind of like a dramatization of his life, but it's really good.
Okay.
And I wouldn't call it historically accurate. You'll see what I mean when we watch it. Okay. But it's really good.
Got you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you something very different from that.
Oh, fun. Yeah. You know what? Why not? That's part of the fun.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a little background about why I'm giving this.
Okay.
I'll keep it short. Anytime the holidays start to roll around, I get very like mushy-gushy about romance. And I really start to like bring out all my favorite rom-coms and like real deep dive into that, because it's just like, I just want to like experience love in the holidays. So this is not a holiday specific movie.
All right.
I thought about giving you one, but I was like, it's too early.
Okay.
So I'm just going to give you a rom-com that I really enjoy, and that is called Love, Rosie, which sounds very, very like, I know, it sounds too romancy. I don't know what this is. It sounds very romancy, but it's really cute.
It's the fact that I've never heard of it.
I honestly had never heard of it either, and I was the first time I watched it, I was traveling. It was probably during the holidays. I was traveling, and I was like downloading a Netflix movie because I was like, I needed something to entertain me. And I saw it, and I was like, what is this? And so I was like, you know what? I'm on a plane. I have tons of time. I'm just going to watch it. And I downloaded it, and I was like on the plane just like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. It's cute.
We'll see where this goes. Yeah, no, it'll be interesting having those two completely opposite types of movies. That's kind of part of the fun of why we do the whole assigning thing.
Yeah.
Samurai Champloo and New York Minute, two completely different things. But that was a very fun episode to re-listen to. So
yeah,
now that ought to be
I'm
interesting.
Excited.
All right, Love Rosie and Ip Man coming up next week. Look forward to it.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.